Tapes from New Jersey. It's the SNL Nerds, a show with two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
John Trumbull, how are you, sir?
Oh, doing all right, living the life, chasing the dream. Ha! Beat you to it.
Oh, shit, wow. You used my own weapon against me, sir.
I stole your line. Ha ha. What are you going to say now, Patterson? Ha ha.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You've caught me unawares. You caught me with my pants down.
You got nothing. You got nothing. You don't got a thing.
I don't know. I'm here. I'm naked now. Oh my God. I'm so vulnerable.
Yeah.
You got nothing. Oh man. Yeah.
That'll learn you.
I don't know what to say now. Yeah. That'll teach me to just lay on my quick little catchphrase.
I love this. You are genuinely at a loss for words now. I've broken Darren. We're 1 minute into the podcast and I've broken Darren, everyone.
I'm flustered, everyone. I got nothing to say. Oh my.
Well, this is going to be a great episode, I can already tell.
Yeah. So guys, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible. That's DARN.
Darren Patterson, great under pressure.
Yes. I crack like a cheap plate.
So welcome. Thanks for tuning in, listening, downloading, whatever you do with podcasts. I don't know.
Right. It's all that technology is above our above our
I don't
heads.
know. Thank you for letting the magic elves recite this to you. I don't know how podcasts work, people.
Magic? I don't think it's magic. I mean, I'm no
it could
scientist.
Be. You don't know.
Yes. To quote Thor, you people say magic and science are two different things. Well, I come from a world where they're one and the same.
Exactly. This is all I'm saying.
Yes. That was a deep cut.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
That's a nice obscure MCU reference there. Yeah, congratulations. Well done, sir.
Thank you. I'm proud of myself for that one.
If you're listening for the first time, this is the SNL Nerds. We say at the top of the show, we're two nerds. We get together. We talk about SNL and we have opinions. This week, as it so happens, we're talking about the most recent episode of SNL, which is hosted by Jerrod Carmichael and musical guest Gunna. It's season 47, episode 16 from April 2nd, 2022.
Yeah, Jerrod Carmichael and Gunna, my man who Jerrod Carmichael just came out with an HBO special like 2 days ago on April Fool's Day called Nathaniel.
I gave it in every sense of the word.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, he came out in the special. I have not watched the special yet. Have you caught that yet?
I have watched it. I enjoyed it, but his special kind of falls on that line where people call it a comedy special, but it's not really a comedy special. Like it's it's kind of in the vein of maybe like Nanette, Hannah Gadsby.
It's all Nanette in this joint.
Yeah, a little bit. Like it's one of those things where I think, and friend of the show, JL Colvin, sort of made a tweet about it where it's more sort of poignant and raw than it is actually funny. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like an insult, but it's not really. But yeah, it's one of those specials where, like I said, like Nanette, or even like Dave Chappelle's like 849 special, that little quick 20-minute thing he did, where it is more like kind of raw and him going through his emotions about coming out to his family and how, he comes from the South. He's from North Carolina. His family is very religious, and even family members in his family still aren't really okay with it, including his mother. He talks about his father's infidelities. It's a lot of kind of laying bare about a lot of stuff, but there's not a lot of jokes in it per se, but it is very raw and honest talk. So if you watch the special if you want to watch the special looking for like laugh out loud jokes, you're not going to get it here. There are even a lot of moments, especially towards the end, where he's like kind of thinking about the next thing to say as he says it. So it's a lot of quiet moments and no one's saying anything. Like he's quiet, the audience is
That's what I
quiet.
always look for in my comedy specials: quiet moments where no one says anything.
Yeah, that's a thing. Like when people say, I think not. Well, to go back to what Colvan said about it, like when people describe this special and they pray that they use words like, "Oh, this is powerful, this is poignant, this is raw, this is honest." They never say words like "this is funny" or any
You
synonym
know,
of the word
that's
"funny."
that's like a feedback that I wouldn't get like feedback like powerful and raw and honest in my comedy, but a lot of people would be like, "Oh yeah, you did, your stuff is very intelligent, or you do a lot of smart comedy." And I was just like, and it got to a point where I was like, I'd rather you just said I was funny. You know,
Yeah, that,
I mean,
yeah, because
it's nice that you think it's smart, but yeah, I'd rather just you just said, "Hey, that was really funny. I really enjoyed it."
yeah, because like every comedian is trying to be funny. So if you
Yeah,
say it's everything but funny, it's kind of like a smack in the face a little bit. But I mean I did enjoy this, but it's not a comedy special.
nah.
I think it's shot really well. It's shot at the world famous Blue Note Jazz Club in Manhattan, and it was directed by Bo Burnham. So it looks
That's
really
cool.
good. Yeah, it looks really good, but it's not really a comedy special per se. It's like
You know,
it's
I liked how Todd Glass handled it when he came out, and he came out, and
he came
he
out.
was one of those guys who I don't think most people guessed that Todd Glass was gay before he came out. Um, and he said that he would just talk about stuff with his partner, uh, and I can't remember if he like switched the pronouns or whatever, but he said that no, people didn't catch on from that because he just said it really just shows that relationship stuff, it really is universal and it doesn't really matter. It's just whatever is going on in your life. But I loved how he had he didn't like the term coming out of the closet. He decided to use busting out of the shed instead. Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I can't remember which Todd Glass special that was, but check it out. It's Todd Glass specials. They're all good. He's very very funny.
You know, when you said Todd Glass came out, for a minute in my mind, I was thinking about Todd Barry, and I was like, Todd Glass came. Oh wait, no, that's okay. Yes.
Todd Barry is not gay, but he has a killer bit about somebody approaching him after the show and saying that he came off as gay on stage. Because Todd Barry's like a very quiet, very almost monotone guy. He's very restrained, and yeah, an audience member was like, "Oh, I saw you upstairs on stage," and I thought, "Ooh, this guy's gay." And Todd Barry says, like, "No, I'm not gay. What about me did you think was gay?" And he says, like, "I don't know, your timing." And Todd Barry just goes, "I have gay timing." And it's yeah, Todd Barry, I love. He's one of my favorites.
What does that even mean? Oh boy.
I just
Hmm.
it's funny
Like,
stuff. Anyway,
oh boy. Yeah, but yeah. So Jerrod Carmichael special with Nathaniel. I liked it, but don't go in it looking for like a comedy laugh out loud special. It's more of
okay,
a. He's more of. I think he's like more of a humorist, if anything.
good to know.
Yeah, yeah.
Good to know.
So yeah, but Gerard Carmichael is a comedian. He's been around for a while. Not super well known, even though he's had like this is his third HBO special, and he's had a network sitcom on NBC. He's still not super well known.
Still kind of
Eh,
under the radar, yeah.
yeah, which is surprising. So like this, I think this is probably some of the most biggest exposure he's gotten. So like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he's definitely like I think he knew that. I think he knew oh this is my chance to like sort of break out on a bigger platform. And I don't know for the most part I think he did all right. We'll get into it as we talk, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's just my 2 cents.
All right, all right. So yeah, well, why don't we get into it? Let's go into the show. We start out with the Fox and Friends cold open. This was kind of a revival of a thing that SNL used to do on a regular basis, is parodying Fox and Friends. But this time around, we have Alex Moffat as Steve Ducey, Heidi Gardner as Ainsley Earnhardt, and Mikey Day as Brian Kilmeade. And if it wasn't for SNL and knowing what they parody on Fox, I wouldn't know half the names of Fox News hosts.
You're better off not knowing.
Yeah, no, I mean the as little as I have a Fox News host in my life, the happier I am as a person.
Yes, that's the key to happiness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right there. So yeah, so it's them talking about of course Trump's app, Truth Social, how you download the app, your phone gets extremely hot to like 105 degrees. I think Brian Kilmeade said, "Oh yeah, it burned my son."
Yeah.
Um yeah, it's a so-so joke, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, then they bring in Keenan as Clarence Thomas and Kate McKinnon as his wife Ginny, and of course Jenny Thomas, who is super conservative, who got into a bit of hot water this past week with tweeting or texting people about or texting Clarence about trying to overturn the election for Trump, I believe.
Well, it came out that she was texting a lot of people on January 6th during. Let me look it up. And we had an attempted coup, an insurrection on January.
What?
I was not aware of this either. Hasn't gotten a lot of coverage in the press.
Huh.
Um,
All right.
and yeah, so she was texting. I think it was the chief of staff in the Trump administration, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
And
So,
yeah, Clarence Thomas not recusing himself from cases that address this when his wife was apparently intimately involved with this and
hmm.
encouraging this to happen.
See,
And
yeah, I mean, you'd think that would land you in hot water, and you'd think that would immediately cause you to like lose your job or something, right?
I mean, in a world with consequences, yes.
Hmm.
Um, but we don't live in that world, Darren.
It sounds nice though. It sounds like a nice place to be.
Yeah. So they had Kate is just sort of hanging all over Clarence Thomas. Keenan is Clarence Thomas giving like these very evasive answers, and it was a weird week too because Clarence Thomas like went into the hospital. People think it was maybe because he had COVID, but I don't think that's even been confirmed. And then this story broke a day or two later. So then everybody's saying like, well, did he go in the hospital because he's trying to avoid questions about this? I don't know. It's such a
Mm.
weird story.
It really is. You think Clarence Thomas had Will Smith slap Chris Rock so the heat would be off of him? Did I just
How
correct?
grateful are they that that story broke when it did? I mean, oh my God. That was perfect timing for Clarence Thomas.
Did I just crack the conspiracy here? Did this thing go all the way to the top?
Yeah, yeah. I did like the line that they gave to Jenny Thomas. I take my duty as the Yoko Ono of the Supreme Court very seriously. I thought that was a funny line.
Yeah, that was okay. But yeah, but overall, I thought this was so-so. I
Hmm.
guess Keenan and Kate playing the Thomases. I was like, all right, this is okay. Then we go into Janine Pyro or
Hmm.
Piro, played by the great Cecily Strong, and she does her. She has a segment called The Five,
Yeah,
and of
I
course,
mean, she actually got an applause break when they announced her, and we see her as Jeanine Pirro. I mean, that's pretty incredible. That I mean, you see the goodwill that she has as this character now.
yeah, which is interesting because I mean we'll get into it later, but like she gets an applause break, but just moments later, another cast member does his character that he's repeated. He doesn't get that, so I was like, oh, are people kind of tired of this already? But I'm talking about James Austin Johnson as Trump.
Hmm.
Like when he came up, it seems like people were like, oh, Trump again. I was like, oh, the people getting tired of this already?
Well, I mean,
That's
I said this on the show like a few weeks ago. I'm so exhausted with the former guy in general that I have a tough time even with impressions of him. Even when it's a good impression like James Austin Johnson's is. I'm
yeah.
just so sick of him. I'm sick of giving him any sort of oxygen. Um,
No, no, absolutely.
both in the figurative sense and in the literal sense. Uh,
Heyo, you hear that, CIA? If you're listening.
it's just a lot. But before we move on to Trump, I just want to say I really enjoyed seeing Janine Pirro shotgunning a beer. I thought that was funny.
That was funny. Yeah, because like I mean, she would go on about woke Disney and the
Hmm.
rant she goes on about the Representative Cawthorn and the orgy he was involved in,
Yeah.
and but yeah, it all like hit at the end with her legit shotgunning a beer and just beer spraying all over the joint. I was like, it's a good way to end it.
Yep. Yep. And then, of course, yeah, we went on to James Austin Johnson as Trump. He's talking about the slap. He kept calling Will Smith Hitch, which was kind of cute. He denies any involvement in the coup and using a burner phone. And they hit on the 7 hour gap that happened on January 6th. All the big Trump stories happening this week. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, like it basically, it's James Austin Johnson who that word salad thing he does with
Yeah.
as Trump's like, oh yeah, I don't use burners. I never use burners except for the time I used a burner in that 7 hour gap. It's like so he's
Yeah.
like saying he doesn't do something, and then he immediately incriminates himself like moments later. That
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's like I think we've had probably every possible comedic take on Trump, and it's like, well, what else is there to say at this point?
yeah, I think that's it. Like, although I will admit, James Austin Johnson's Trump impression is incredible. It's really good. But the
It's
thing is,
great. I wish we'd had it for most of the Trump administration, but the fact that we're having it after the Trump administration, it
yeah,
lessens the impression. It's a great impression, but it would have been
yeah,
much better 4 years ago.
yeah. No, I agree. We're at the point where it is good. It's the right impression, wrong time. I'll say that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if we had this
Sadly,
earlier, it would have made a bigger impact. But we got it now when we're all kind of tired of it. So it's like,
yeah.
you just missed the window, bud. Sorry.
Yeah, I like what Stephen Colbert is doing on his show, where he refuses to even say the guy's name anymore, which I think is good. I mean, he'll still do jokes about him, but he will not say his name. Uh,
I. That's a good way to live.
I think that's a good way to go about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I will say in this opening, I missed the gag that they used to do with the older Fox and Friends parodies, where they'd run the rapid correction scroll where you had to like pause your DVR or watch it on YouTube later to like and pause it at the right times to read all the gags, and they had some really clever gags in there. Um,
Yeah.
I thought
No,
I thought that
absolutely.
was such a great standard bit of the Fox and Friends parody. I wish they'd hung on to that aspect.
Yeah, no, I agree. I got a kick out of that as well. But yeah, and the way it ends just kind of peters out. Basically, them saying, "Oh, about the Truth Social app, it's the only app with a smell." I was like, "All
Yeah,
right." But yeah, overall, I thought this cold open was so.
yeah,
Uh, nothing too, nothing too out of the ordinary. Just kind of standard SNL fare as far as cold
yeah,
openings go.
yeah. I mean, again, I feel like it would have been stronger if they just concentrated on one story or one guest. Like concentrate on the Clarence Thomas thing, concentrate on the Trump thing if you have to,
Right.
concentrate on the Janine Pirro thing. Like just having all of them all together, it's just too much.
Yeah, it's at this point, it's kind of I don't know. You can kind of tell what's going to happen. It's kind of paint by numbers. Like even when
Yeah,
they started saying, "Oh, we have a special caller calling in," I was like,
yeah,
"It's Trump. It's Trump, isn't it?" It's
yeah. I
you
mean, the cold opens have gotten so formulaic; they're just not terribly fun anymore. I want to see them shake it up, and I want to see more variety in the cold opens. That's
here, here.
really something I hope they do for next season. I, I I mean, ideally, I'd love to see them fix it this season, but I don't think that's going to happen at this point.
Yeah, I think where it's just going to be the way it is until the next season. I think they're just going
Yeah,
to kind of limp to the finish line of this season, and then like once October rolls around, hopefully we get a whole new setup for everything.
yeah, that would be nice. I mean, right now we got like 5 episodes left in the season. It is what it is.
Yep.
But anyway, moving on. We had the Jerrod Carmichael monologue. By the way, I am going to mangle his first name, at some point during the show. I am
Yeah.
absolutely certain.
That's Jerrod. Like,
It's Jerrod, but it's just too close to Gerald or Jared, and I know I'm going to accidentally say one of those at least once. So
guy,
apologies in
got
advance.
right, guys. I'm gonna call right now. At one point, John will call him Jerome at some point during this episode.
But in my defense, I am super racist.
Oh God! Whoa. Okay.
What? You know this, Daryl, right?
Oh, don't put me in this position, please. Oh, Scott,
Somewhere
it's
John
so hot.
Minus is listening and is like, "You finally have the opportunity. Do it, finish him."
Strike him down.
Uh, by the way, I loved when Jerrod came out and super smooth handoff for the hand mic because
Right.
stand-up comedian hosting SNL, they got to do the monologue with a hand mic. It's the rule.
Yeah, not even a cordless mic, a mic with a cord.
Yeah. I mean, because that's what stand-up comics know. It's what they're used to. They would not know what to do with their hands if they did not have a mic. Came out, in a very nice white suit with a little gold medallion. Looked like he was going to star in a Bee Gees biopic.
Yeah, it's very like Eddie Murphy circa 1980s. Like all white suit, no shirt, just glistening.
Like if he went into a rendition of "How Deep Is Your Love," I would not have been surprised.
Oh, how deep is your love?
How deep is your love? How deep is your love? All right.
Fantastic.
I liked how he came out. He was just like, "I'm not going to talk about it. I'm burned out on it." And I liked his take where it's like, "It's been 6 days. Doesn't it feel like it happened years ago? It feels like it happened somewhere between Jamiroquai and 9/11." That's a great line.
It's a fantastic line. I really dug it.
Yeah.
And like the one thing I also noticed about this monologue, I actually enjoyed this monologue quite a bit.
Me too.
Yeah, this one thing I really like. He said, "I'm not going to talk about it. You can't make me talk about it." He never says what it is throughout the entire monologue. He never says Will Smith, Chris Rock slap. He just says it, and that just to show you how much we've been inundated with it. Mm-hmm. He just has to say it, and you know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, because that's been the omnipresent story this week, and he just talked about how, like, Monday he was having all this fun with it. Tuesday got a little tired of it. Wednesday I wanted to kill myself. Thursday I don't remember Thursday. I mean, it's just wonderful. I'm sure he tested this out at some clubs this week, but just wonderful. I mean, great stuff. It was a good take on it. I liked how he was a little self-deprecating. He said, like, I have to be the least famous host in SNL history. And he got an applause break for that. That was great.
Yeah, and he was like, "I don't know why you're applauding. That doesn't do well for my ego."
I don't know what you thought that was doing for me, but it didn't do anything for me.
People applauding like, "Yeah, we have no idea who you are. You're right."
Yeah. I think that was just like the audience being like, "Yeah, we like you anyway." And then he had a little direct address to Barack Obama at the end.
Right, about how, Barack, everything going on in the world right now, and like Barack is just kind of chilling, writing books, and he just says, "Barack, we need you now. We need you to talk about it. We need you. The nation needs to heal." And yeah, I thought this was a pretty strong monologue. Part of me was like, "Oh, this is funny. Some of this should have been in the HBO special you did." But hey, man, whatever.
Well, I mean, since he spent most of the monologue talking about the slap, he couldn't put it on the HBO special, I'm sure.
Right. No, I meant like the jokes, and like it was like funny. It's like, oh, the funny that you had in this monologue should have been in the special. Like,
yeah,
but like,
I do feel like it is generally a good thing to put good jokes in a comedy special. I'm gonna take a bold stance and say that.
Hot take.
But really strong monologue. Whenever they have a stand-up host, I know we're in good hands for the monologue, and at the very least, we're going to get 6 to 10 minutes of really strong stand-up.
Right. No, this was a great monologue. I really dug it. As far as the rest of the shows, well, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it. There was some decent stuff. For instance, I think the first sketch, the post-COVID game show, Is My Brain Okay? I thought that was kind of funny. I'm not gonna bury the lead. I'm just gonna say it right up front. I thought this was all right. Not
Uh,
wonderful, but all right.
yeah. So this one, post-COVID game show, written by Allison Gates and Colin Jost,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's basically Kate McKinnon hosting a game show with Sarah Sherman, Gerard Carmichael, and Bowen Yang as the contestants,
Yeah.
asking, is your brain okay? Because
Yeah.
like with everything that's happened with COVID and us being indoors all the time
Yeah.
and all these things, we've definitely gotten dumber as a people. Which
Yes.
you if
Agreement
you
sound.
yes, I no lie, zero lies detected.
This is where I'm living now. My brain has been broken for quite some time. I don't think it's coming back at this point.
Nope,
I
this is it.
liked how Kate McKinnon's as the host. She was just Lisa something. I enjoyed that.
Is that? Oh, I was wondering what that name was. Oh, okay, that's funny.
Yeah, yeah. They were just like it's Lisa something, uh, and Gerard's character. He was like a marketing consultant for I think IBM or something like that, and Kate says, "And what do you do now?" And he just says, "Mushrooms."
Yeah,
When we find out how broken their brains are, they show a picture of a wheelbarrow. Nobody can name what it is.
it's a farm
Uh,
bicycle, John.
they're they're stumped on the question what day of the week it is. They're having trouble answering simple questions.
Yeah, like at one point they don't, like you said, they don't know what day it is. They actually say what, and Bowen says, "Oh, what is Thursday?" And she's, "Oh, you don't have to say it in the form of a question." And he's like, "No, I'm genuinely asking, what is Thursday?"
Yeah, and they bring Chris Red out as an old friend of Jerrod's, and Jerrod tries to recall his name and he can't, and then it turns out his name is Derek, the same as Gerard's character. So
D1, D2, that was our whole thing, man.
yeah. So I mean, this was cute. I enjoyed this. I can see why it was leading off the night.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of gave me vibes of a lot of things that's like led by Kate. Like there was that the cold open, like does this does this work now? Where
Mm-hmm.
like or her Doctor We Know This, where basically we get to see Kate's mental state during this pandemic is maybe not the best. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
make a sketch around that.
Kate has done a lot of sketches about how much COVID and lockdown and isolation and all that has affected her. And yeah, I kind of worry for Kate at this point. You know?
Yeah, like yeah, Kate, are you okay? Like if you reach
Yeah,
out to us at the SNL Nerds if you need to talk,
yeah.
we're here.
We're here for you, Kate.
Right.
You have a support system. By the
Exactly.
way,
And
I just realized we didn't see 80 at all this week, did we?
no 80. I don't think we saw. We definitely didn't see Punky. No
Yeah.
Aristotle.
Well,
No.
those are kind of givens at this point, but it's
Yeah.
unusual that we don't see 80. It sadly is not unusual that we don't see Punky or Aristotle on the show.
Right.
Pete only
I mean,
showed up in the pre-tape.
yeah. Although I did hear that there was an Angelo sketch that got cut for time.
Yeah,
That they did address that really did well, and they just cut it, which is a bummer because I mean there's one sketch in here where I was like they definitely should have cut this and put in that Angelo sketch, but we'll
yeah.
get there. We'll get there
Okay,
because
we'll get there. We'll get there. That's something to look forward to.
yeah, I
But
it's
yeah,
I
I thought this was pretty good. I think this was one of the better sketches of the night.
yeah, I thought the sketch was pretty okay. I did enjoy where at the end where they asked the question to everybody to write down their answer on their pads like Jeopardy style.
Hmm.
Kate saying if you had to write if you had to start a conversation with someone, how would you do that? And everybody was writing on their pads, and then we see Sarah Sherman licking her answer on her pad.
Yep,
Like part of me thinks that was her choice. That was like, no,
it seems
I
like a
gotta lick this.
very Sarah Sherman slash Sarah Squirm thing to do. Yes,
Right. And of course her answer was let me be inside you now.
yeah, that
And
very much reminded me of a state line.
oh really?
Yeah, well, it's a thing that Showalter, Wayne, and Michael Ian Black would do during like Stella shows, where they'd encourage people in the live audience to like turn to the person to the left and just say, I Want You Inside Me.
Oh wow! Did
So
that? Wait, so were you at those shows? Did you do that
I
this
was at a
or?
few of those. Yes, yes.
Oh yeah, did you hook up
It's a good
some?
icebreaker.
Yeah. Oh, something's breaking that night. Heyo.
So
All I
anyway,
want to do is zoom and zoom zoom.
anyway, next we had a pre-tape short ass movies. This was written by Dan Beulah and Pete Davidson, and just Pete Davidson doing a rap song about how he's looking for stuff to watch, but he just wants short ass movies. Movies are too long nowadays.
Oh, Pete Davidson doing a rap video? That's
I
pretty.
know we're in
Wow.
uncharted territory here.
Huh. All
He's just
right.
talking about how he wants a movie under 140, which I get. I get a lot of times. A lot of times late at night on Netflix, I'm just looking for something that I've seen before that I can fall asleep to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I thought this sketch was more relatable than it was funny, just because
Mm-hmm.
it's literally him list with also Gunna is in this pre-tape and Chris
Yep.
Red, and it's literally them just listing movies that are under 2 hours.
Yeah,
And I was like,
and Simon Rex.
oh yeah, Simon Rex is in this.
Yeah.
MTV The Grind, Simon Rex is just in this as well, and then it's him listing off Ernest movies, and then they list off other movies like Encino Man, Liar Liar, Austin Powers,
Mhm.
Eraserhead, and it's just like, all right, this is all
Yep.
right, but I mean, what else? Are we just listing off movies now? Or this?
I like the tangent about how Sex and the City 2 is longer than Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park had to like explain dinosaurs and how they're cloning dinosaurs and all that. And Sex and the City 2 is about four characters we already know. I thought that was cute. I think honestly this was okay, but it was repetitive, and
Yeah,
ironically, it was much longer than it needed to be.
yeah, that's the thing. It really didn't escalate or go anywhere. It's like, yeah, that part you said where he compares Sex and the City 2 to Jurassic Park was interesting, but yeah, ultimately it's just Pete talking about short movies, and
Yeah,
that's really it. And like I
yeah,
was like, all right, that's and they all of course they mentioned how the King of Staten Island was 2 hours and 17 minutes. So I was like, all right,
yeah.
that's a
And
nice
he's like,
little
"Oh,
meta.
but we needed all that time." And
That's a nice little meta joke, but I was like, all right, it's literally just Pete listing short movies. Is
yeah,
Pete Davidson so fascinating that people are just willing to watch him do anything at this point?
yes, I think the last year or so in particular has answered that question strongly in the affirmative. We will watch Pete Davidson do anything. He's done Chad a half dozen times. We will watch Pete Davidson do anything.
Yeah,
Anything.
any,
Anything.
yeah, or
Anything. I'm like that Gary Oldman uh, meme now. Everyone.
one.
So yeah,
So,
I think they just wanted something with Pete Davidson in the show this week, and by God, they got it.
yeah, but yeah, so it's. I mean, for me, this pre-tip is like whatever, but Pete's in it,
Mhm.
so I
But
guess it's
Pete's in
good.
it, and he's rapping, and and
Yeah,
Chris
how
Red
often?
has something to do, and yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty forgettable. I thought.
yeah. I mean, not great, not Pete at his best, I would say.
Mm-mm.
Um, Next we have a sketch called Shop TV with Jerrod appearing as a guest on a show on like a home shopping network thing, and he's got a doll called Riley Rainbow Locks, and it's got rainbow hair, and it's also got a rainbow bush. See how I summarize that in 10 seconds? On the sketch, it takes over 2 minutes.
Yeah, I will say the build up to it is a little on the slow side, like
This took
especially
forever to get to the point. Forever. I mean, my God.
right. It did. Like it was one of those things where it's basically like Cecily and Mikey, and they're introducing themselves, and then
Yeah.
there's that whole thing with the squeal deal where
We
they
didn't
had
need
to have
that.
like
We
a
didn't need that at all.
no, not at all. That was
Yeah.
totally unnecessary. And like then it talks. They talk to Jerrod's character, whose last name is Lickett, and then they go into that for some reason a little bit, and then
Yeah.
they keep talking about the doll, how the hair grows after children
And like
cut
at the
it.
beginning of the sketch, I'm like, okay, are they doing like a riff on those shows? Like there seem to be a lot of reality shows where it's like the Southern wife and the Southern husband who's either like really Southern or really gay or both, and yet we
Yeah,
never
yeah.
acknowledge how horribly, not horribly effeminate, but how very, very effeminate the husband is, and it's somehow never acknowledged on the shows.
You
Um,
know, yeah, it just kind of, yeah, it was a slow build up to get to the visual of
Calling it a
the,
buildup is generous.
okay, all right,
Because a buildup implies progression of some kind.
okay. It was a slow build across,
Sure. Yeah, let's say that.
a slow plateau. I don't know.
I liked the visual of the big, 70s rainbow bush. I liked the term uh the Jaffro. I thought that was very clever. I liked his trying to cover it. He was like, "Oh well, if you were a doll maker, you would know that this is just anchoring the." And everyone's like, "We're not doll makers. How do you think we would know that?" I thought that was good stuff. Just took way too long to get to.
Yeah, and then it started to pick up a little bit when they start taking calls from people. Like we hear Ego's voice about like how she wants to buy the doll, but then she sees the Vajafro and gets offended and
Hmm.
doesn't want it. And then we get another call from a correctional facility from the Palmdale pervert, and I was like, all right, that's something. Um, I thought this was okay, the sketch, but yeah, like
Yeah,
it. I think the slow build up hurt it a little bit, like especially that
I think
part where
the slow build up hurt it a lot.
yeah, or the slow build across or whatever I'm calling it,
Yeah,
like that one.
I mean, yeah, I
Yeah,
would
like
have liked it so much more if it had just been half the length. If it
yeah,
had been like 4 minutes instead of 6 minutes, which is not
yeah,
half the length. So I take that back.
yeah, like that whole part where they had Alex Moffat showing a lunchbox of Jesus Christ with the VR Oculus. I was like, I don't think we needed
I
that.
don't even remember that. I've watched this sketch twice. What you've just described is not ringing a bell for me at all. My mind must have wandered.
Yeah, like it needed to be shortened up a bit, or
Yeah,
maybe they drew out the beginning because they didn't know how to end it or the middle part, so they just kind of padded the beginning. But
I
it
don't know.
brings the
They have this weird impulse where it's like we have to develop every single character in the sketch, and every character has to get a laugh line. It's like no, some people can just be the straight man in a sketch.
yeah, exactly.
We
Uh,
don't need everybody to have a bit.
less is more.
Yeah, and I realize you want to serve the cast and give them all a good laugh, but a lot of times that doesn't serve the sketch, and you really should be trying to serve the sketch.
Absolutely. And
First and
this
foremost.
yeah, and this sketch was written by Mikey Day and Streeter Seidel with an assist from Rosebud Baker, new writer.
Yeah, I mean, I usually love the stuff that Mikey and Streeter do. I just don't think this was quite up to their usual standard, except for the Jaffro, of course.
Yes, of course. That's always
Yeah.
that always gives
And
me.
I love the visual of them, changing the doll and putting her into a bathing suit, and you're seeing the rainbow bush peeking out on either side. I mean, that's funny. I just wish they got to it faster.
Right. And the part where Mikey was trying to like, class it up, I was like trying to poke the Jaffro hairs back into the bathing suit
Yeah,
so they
that's
don't
great.
become.
That's gold. I mean,
Yeah, and Mikey's like, "Well, no, it's okay. She said she's in college, so it's all right."
yeah, right, right.
Right. So
Yeah, I
like
mean, there's
it's
some funny stuff in there, but
right.
yeah,
It's okay, but yeah, it could have tightened that up a bit.
yep,
No pun intended.
yep.
Oh boy.
They
Oh
could have
boy.
trimmed back this sketch.
There it is. Heyo. Wow.
Get those comedy clippers
Wow.
going.
I set him up, you knock him down. We're like the
Get a
Maverick
little
and
comedy nair in there,
yeah.
and
We're like the
just
Maverick and yeah, we're like the Maverick and Goose of podcast. You set him up,
just
I knock him.
removing the excess. That's what they needed to
Yes.
do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to keep it well maintained. You want a
All
well trimmed comedy.
all right.
I
Moving
am
on.
just going to beat this metaphor into the ground.
All right. Speaking of beating,
Yes,
Seafillers.
there's a transition for you.
Seat fillers.
Seat fillers. This, of course, about the big story of the week at the Oscars with certain thing happened with Chris Rock and Will Smith.
Yeah, so we just had the cold open where Jerrod said he didn't want to talk about it, and now we
Yeah.
have a sketch talking about it.
Well, starring Jerrod.
Starring
Yeah.
Jerrod, yeah. Although I did hear that this was supposed to be the cold open, possibly, and
Uh-huh.
like the Fox and Friends was going to be in the show, but then they decided to switch it up at the last
Hmm.
minute or something. I that
It would
might
have been it would have been a refreshing change for the cold open because usually they go political with the cold open. That's part of the formula. It would have been nice to see a cold open about the big story of the week that had nothing to do with politics.
right. Yeah, that would have been a better thing to have, and like I mean, it would explain why the way it ended was super short and super abrupt, maybe.
It did end kind of abruptly. I liked the take on it though. I thought it was kind of a clever take. They had Gerard coming in as a seat filler at the Oscars, and he's sitting right behind Will Smith, and Will Smith is very nice and friendly, and he's about to take a selfie, and then he's like, "Oh wait, excuse me, let me just get up," and then he gets up to slap Chris Rock, and then he comes back and he's super friendly again. I
Right.
thought that
Yeah.
was cute.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. It was. I mean, Chris Red actually has a fairly decent Will Smith impression, and you know,
I thought Chris Red was good in this sketch. A part of me couldn't help but wish that Jay Farrow was still on the show because Jay Farrow has a killer Will Smith impression.
oh, agreed. I don't know if maybe they didn't call him or what, but yeah, they really.
Yeah,
If we had seen Jay Farrow as Will Smith, that would have really put it over because
that
he had
would
a
have,
great Will Smith and a great Chris Rock impression, if I'm not mistaken.
and a great Denzel. I watched a clip of Jay Farrow appearing on a news show this week, and he said he has something like 200 impressions in his repertoire now, which is that's incredible. And yeah, he ran through his Will Smith and his Denzel, and yeah,
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
he's good.
Um, yeah. So I mean,
The
basically,
show never utilized Jay Farrow as well as they should have. I mean, he's so
yeah,
strong. He's somebody who should have been like a home run as a cast member, and he had a decent run on the show, but I feel like we could have gotten more with him.
yeah. No, I feel the same way about like Melissa. It's a thing where sometimes when you have somebody who can do really good impressions, for some reason the show doesn't utilize them, like Melissa, and
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
bummer. I don't know why.
It's strange because it's like you see somebody who's that great at impressions, and you think, oh well, yeah, that's a home run, and then yeah, in the show SNL seems to have trouble utilizing the impressionists these days, which is a weird thing.
Yeah, Daryl Hammond. He's probably he might be like the last time they really used a impressionist
Hmm.
well, but
Yeah,
ever since then it's been kind of I don't know. I
yeah,
don't
and I
know why
don't
it's
know what
missing.
the problem is because you're always going to have a need for that.
Yeah,
But I do think Chris Red did a good job with it. He did a nice job shifting his moods. Whoever was doing the bleeping, because he Chris Red, of course, did the "keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth" thing. Whoever was on the button for that was timing it beautifully, and that had to be very difficult to do live. I don't know if they had that pitch on a delay or what.
yeah, that was pretty tricky. But yeah,
Hmm.
like, and also Chris Red had to make sure he didn't mouth the F word. He had to like kind of like garble it
Yeah,
up a bit, right?
yeah, I guess so. I guess that would be objectionable too. Um,
Right.
I liked how like he goes, "Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth," and then he instantly comes back. And he's like, "All right, so we still gonna do the selfie?" and Gerard just goes, no, I deleted my phone." Uh,
Yeah. And then they have Kyle come in as another sheet filler who just kind of got caught up on what just happened. And
yeah,
of course, he is frightened like Gerard is. And of
yeah,
course, Will Smith is like playing it off like nothing happened. It's like, hey, what's your name, man? And
yeah,
Kyle's like, oh, I don't, they didn't give me one.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, you don't have a name? That's crazy.
yeah. I thought this was pretty good. I thought it was a decent take on it. I mean, SNL was kind of in a bad position because this thing happened on Sunday, last Sunday at the Oscars, and so SNL can't even begin to address it until 6 days later. And by that point, we've had almost every possible comedic take on it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Much like what Jerrod said, like by the time, like I didn't even know if we wanted to talk about it on this podcast, just because, like this happened like literally hours after we recorded the last episode,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like between then and now, I have heard every take on it. I've seen every meme, I've seen every think piece, I've seen
yeah.
people. I've seen every viewpoint where people blame Chris, people blame Will, people blame Jada, people blame the Academy, people blame the people in the.
Yeah,
I've seen every take on it, and at this point, I'm really kind of like exhausted from it. Like
yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
to. I didn't even want to talk about it.
By the end of Monday, I was like, I am sick of every single take on this, including my own. Um, I mean, the big question I had was like, did Chris Rock have any idea about Jada Pinkett Smith having alopecia? Because I had no idea until the
uh,
story broke.
yeah,
Um,
like I think that's
and
something.
I think that's an important question to ask that wasn't getting enough attention, because I think that changes things quite a bit. Is, like, what was his intention? Was he
Yeah,
just making fun of the fact that she didn't have hair, and in his mind, was it that all that it was, or did he know that she had that condition?
I don't know. See, I heard he didn't know, but then I heard he did know. Then I
Yeah.
heard that he knew, and I heard the joke he told wasn't approved, but he just wanted to do it
I
anyway.
did hear that the joke was not in the script, so it was, I think, something that Chris Rock was doing off the cuff. I just think logically he had to not know. I think he couldn't have known, because it's like, well, what's the advantage of making that joke?
Yeah, like I mean, it's referencing a movie from the late '90s. Like it's not even topical. It's just like
Yeah, I don't think it's a real strong joke
no, not at all.
under either circumstance, and yeah, it's
But then I've seen people say, well, he has a history of doing this to Jada. Like he made jokes at her expense in 2016. I've heard people say he's had a history of being misogynistic against women, especially black women. And it's like I don't know. This is this
yeah.
is this is all too
I
much.
I don't know. I My perception of Chris Rock is that he generally isn't a guy who punches down a lot. Um, so yeah, and I saw a lot of comedians who know Chris Rock personally like tweet out support and saying like, yeah, no, he would not do something like that. So, and I
Right?
tend to believe them.
Yeah, I'm with you. But
But
yeah, I mean, either way, my quick impression is just don't slap people. You shouldn't be slapping people on stage.
that's a bold take, my friend.
Look, I'm gonna ruffle a few feathers. I might get I don't care who I offend, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna go on the offensive saying, don't slap people.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Crazy.
it was just so odd because it was just so out of nowhere. Like Will Smith just went nuclear so fast.
He really did.
Um,
Like, I mean, I saw it on the day. Like, I was
yeah,
because
me
like
too.
I watch like watching Oscars and big events like this, and like when he
Mhm.
did it, I thought it was staged, and then like afterwards when they were like bleeping out everything that he was
Yeah,
saying afterwards, and then like the look on Chris Rock's face too, he looks very like unnerved and
yeah.
like shaken. So I was like, oh, is this real?
I mean, there are still people who are saying it's staged, and I'm like, if it was staged, if it was a bit, it would have had a funnier ending. They would have
Right.
had a closer.
We have slap deniers out there, John.
We have slap deniers. Yes, we have slap truthers out there.
Like even if it was fake, why? What? Like, who benefits from that?
Exactly, exactly.
Like
That's
what's
what
the
we
end
all get
game?
to. Who benefits?
Like
And
yeah, like what's
yeah,
the end game here?
yeah,
Who
and
profits?
yeah. If it had been a bit, A, they wouldn't have dumped out because it would have been planned, and B, we would have had a closer for it. And we didn't have either of those things. We just had silence and awkwardness. So it was real.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing's a big old Misha gosh. I've heard
Well, I
people
mean,
say.
I don't know. I think we solved it. You
I
and
think
me,
I
right
think we
here.
did. You Yep.
I think we did.
You're welcome, America. And let's never
You're
talk
welcome.
of let's never talk of it again until Weekend Update. Uh,
Until Weekend Update does 10 minutes of jokes on it.
Yeah, that. Oh, well,
Yeah.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
But first, we have our musical guest for the week. We have Gunna, who, of course, did two numbers, Banking on Me, and then Pushin' P, which was featured Future. I
Yeah,
don't have a lot to say about this. This was my
I
first exposure to Gunna. It was fine, I guess. I don't know.
it was alright. I'm not. I love my hip hop. I love my, but like I'm at
You
that
enjoy
age.
the rap.
I enjoy the rappings, but like
Yeah,
I'm one of
you like
those
the
guys.
hipping, you like the hopping, you like the hipping and the hopping put together with
A
the hip
what?
hop and the hippity
Yeah,
hop. Yeah,
I said a what? I love all that.
yes,
But like I'm at that age now where I just don't understand the new stuff, and it seems like Gunna is a very mumblecore rap, which I
yeah.
I do not get. It's because it's literally them kind of mumbling into a mic their lyrics. Like,
Tough to make out what he is saying. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
and I've heard younger people say, "Oh, it's more about a vibe than it is about actually having good lyrics or rapping ability." And like, yeah, I guess, but
It's about a vibe. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, like both of these performances, I was just not feeling like he's wearing sunglasses indoors, like he's Joe Cool, and like he's like both of his performances were very kind of monotone, very low energy. He was barely moving. It seemed like he didn't even want to be there. It seemed like he was contractually obligated, and like it was just like him kind of
Well, I
mumble.
think he was. I think
Well,
he,
he
in all
was,
likelihood, did sign a contract before he was on the show. I don't know
yeah,
all the ins and outs of the legalities of it, but yeah, I would guess that they had some sort of agreement that he would appear on the show.
yeah, that's true. But he looked like he was just like, yeah, pushing weight, pushing P. And it just seemed very low. And even the last performance, which is only an hour, I mean, it's only like a minute and a half, only like a minute 42,
Very short. Yeah.
super short.
It's so disorienting when it's like a song ends that abruptly, and I'm just like, what? What? Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
what we're doing. Okay.
I mean, unless you're the Ramones, it doesn't make any sense. And it's,
Unless you're the Ramones, yeah.
what did you for? But
Oh, I want to listen to some Ramones now.
please do, it's great. But yeah, I
Oh,
mean, both of these performances I thought were just they were just not great. Like I feel like if this is your thing, you can even admit like he just kind of his energy is super low, and he's kind of like doesn't it looks like he doesn't want to be there. He's just very kind of drowsy and sleepily rapping his or mumble rapping his stuff. Pushing away, push like repeating phrases over and over again. And I'm like, this is like a lullaby. It's putting me to sleep. I can't
mhm.
with this. So yeah, both of these performances, I was like, I got nothing for this.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, so moving on. Weekend update, or weekend update, if I pronounced that correctly, uh, with Colin Jost and Michael Che.
Like a Che.
Michael Che. Uh, I did like Joe's opening joke about how the Will Smith Chris Rock thing it sets a terrible precedent for having to defend your wife at award shows. Um, that was funny, and that was a take that literally no one else will have.
That was a good joke. I will admit
Yeah,
that. I did like that, but I
I
didn't.
mean,
But yeah, but like it's like we talked about earlier, like how he said that joke, and then Che had another Will Smith Chris Rock joke, and
yeah,
then Jost had another Will Smith Chris Rock joke, and then Che
yeah.
had another Will Smith. Like this is too much.
They spent way too much time on it. I think it would have been great if it was like if they'd been able to make these jokes the day after, 6 days later. No, we don't need this many.
Right. And then they had one of their desk correspondents on to talk about the slap again, which we'll get
Yeah,
to. But I was
yeah.
like,
I mean, well, why don't we let's go ahead and tackle it now. I mean, even though it's out of order. Yeah, somebody did literally ask O.J. Simpson their opinion about it this week, and our friend Krantz was like, whoever thought of doing that should just get a Pulitzer. I
yeah,
don't even remember what OJ actually said about it now, but just the
I
fact
think
that somebody wanted to get OJ's opinion on it is so insane.
it's really bonkers when you think about what OJ was back in the '90s and how he's like kind of just like you know internet Twitter celebrity now, and it's just like,
Yeah.
wow. It's like, dude, the world is weird. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. Yeah, we had Keenan playing O.J. Simpson. Um, yeah.
Love that pause.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, what is there new to say about the slap at this point? What is there new to say about OJ at this point? I could have done
Yeah,
without.
yeah. Like he said he didn't even get the joke. He didn't understand what G.I. Jane was. Che
Yeah,
says, "Oh yeah, that was a movie from the '90s," and he's like, "Oh, I don't remember anything from the '90s."
yeah.
Okay. Love will make you do crazy things, allegedly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That was the thing
And
that they said. Yes,
yeah. Because he killed someone, you see.
he killed two
He,
people.
yeah, that's you're right. I stand corrected. He did.
Hmm.
Uh hmm. Yeah, it was I mean, like them talking to OJ about the slap and then them having 10 minutes, not 10 minutes, but like way too
It
many
felt like
jokes.
10. It was
Yeah.
probably 5, but it felt like 10.
Yeah, and it's just like why are we just have maybe one or two jokes about the slap and move on.
Yeah.
Like like
By
Jerrod
the way,
said it best at the beginning. We're all kind of tired of it. Like
yeah, yeah,
the dead horse has been beaten at this point.
yeah.
You know,
By the
like
way, they said a thing towards the end of their jokes, and I don't think I wrote down what the joke was, but they said, I think Chase said Chris Rock has a nonverbal learning disorder.
yeah, I didn't get that. He does he? I didn't even know that.
Is that a thing? Is that an actual? I had no idea. So is he like on the spectrum or something?
I guess I didn't know about that until Che said something about that just now.
All right,
Is
I'm gonna Google this real fast, see if I can
is
find some
this
info.
is this his alopecia? I had no idea.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's bonkers. But yeah, I mean, other than the Oscar talk, they did have some jokes about other things that were cool. Che had a joke about Putin and how his failure to pull out of Ukraine, failure to pull out. They give him the nickname Nick Cannon because Nick Cannon has many children by many different women because he likes to keep it in. He goes raw.
Um, yeah, okay. Apparently, this is a thing. He has a uh, NVLD, which is similar to Asperger's syndrome. So,
Okay.
somebody tweeted, "Great time for Chris Rock to draw attention to his nonverbal learning disorder diagnosis and its impact on his social interactions. Could help a lot of people." Okay,
Hmm.
yeah. So there was some stuff about this.
Okay. Well,
Um,
maybe that further bolsters your argument about him not knowing because
he says he says it turned out that I had something that was a lot like Asperger's. I kind of have a hard time with nonverbal cues with people. I always have. I didn't know I did, but I'm great with words. I can hear, but most communication, they say that 70% of all communication is nonverbal.
hmm, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. See, this is an aspect that I don't think was getting much press. I'm looking at a link on Newsweek right now.
Oh,
Um,
it's going down the rabbit hole.
He says he told the Hollywood Reporter in 2020 that he had difficulties with one-on-one relationships, and I'd always just chalked it up to being famous. Anytime someone would respond to me in a negative way, I'd think, whatever, they're responding to something that has to do with who they think I am. Now I'm realizing it was me. A lot of it was me, Rock said. Wow.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Very interesting.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard much about that at all till you just brought it up. That's the
No, I had no
yeah.
idea, and I bet a lot of people listening to this didn't
Wow,
know
that
about this. But yeah, there's a story on
wow,
today from September 2020 about
that's
this. See, and I had no idea about this. I had no idea about Jada Pinkett Smith having alopecia. I think at this point, if you're a celebrity, just assume that I don't know what your current condition is medically,
yeah,
because
exactly.
I just don't keep track of that stuff.
Yeah, wear one of those medical bracelets so everybody in the media knows what your
Yeah, I
ailments
don't
are.
know, but I mean that's
Yeah,
something. So yeah, he says like all I understand are the words. And
yeah.
he's explained he can take things too literally and has all or nothing thinking. Wow.
Hmm. Wow. All
He
right.
says, by
Well,
the way,
this.
all those things are really great for writing jokes. They're just not great for one-on-one relationships.
Oh boy. That's
Wow.
wow. He's hit some truths right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I did not know that either. Right? The more you know.
Yeah. See, that's really interesting. I want to do some more reading and research on this. And that explains a lot about how, like Rock, like the slap thing, when Will Smith gets up and he's like walking towards him, you can tell Rock thinks it's going to be a bit. He goes like, "Uh-oh," and he's got a smile on his face, and he just stands there.
Yeah, of
And
course.
then
No one thinks.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then
like
Smith
I get.
slaps him, and then it seems to hit him, no pun intended, uh, that this is for real. And then you can see like Rock is serious about it when Smith is yelling, and and he says, "Get my wife's name out of your mouth," and Rock just goes, "I will, I am."
Yeah, because
So
like no one expects Will Smith to slap you on live television in front of thousands of people. No one thinks that's gonna happen. And
they
then when
might
it
expect
happens,
it
you're
to
like,
happen now.
yeah, they might now. Yeah, now that we live in a post slap world.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, like
wow,
I even remember watching it like after he got slapped and Will Smith screamed at him. He was like seriously, dude. It was a GI Jane joke. Even Chris Rock
yeah,
kind of knew like the joke was kind of tame, but I don't know.
yeah, and him just saying like it was a GI Jane joke. That says to me like he thought it was just a joke about her shaving her head. And like
Right.
I think I saw during the arrivals thing, I was like, oh, Jada Smith's bald. I wonder if she did that for a role or something. And I didn't think anything more of it because even though apparently Jada Smith has been public about this for years, hadn't reached me. So
Yeah. If we don't know about it, it hasn't happened.
exactly,
That's that's the credo here at the SNL Nerds.
yeah, I had literally no idea. So what are you gonna
Okay.
do?
All right. See, now
Hey,
now we
hey,
now we've
there's
talked
another
about it.
thing. Yeah, there's another thing that happened on Update that we should talk about. We had Cecily popping up as another crazy white woman, Senator
Yes.
Marsha Blackburn, who apparently is a real person.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Senator from Tennessee during the Jackson confirmation hearings, who asked her to define woman.
Yeah.
So,
And yeah, it's like basically, you know, uh, the the character of Marsha Blackburn saying, "Oh yeah, women, they're always cold. They always be shopping.
yeah,
Women. They like
they have beehive haircuts in Far Side cartoons. I enjoyed that.
yeah,
I enjoyed the specifics of that.
yeah. Any reference to the Far Side, I like. It's one of the best comic strips to come out in quite
Tip
some
of the
time.
hat to Gary Larson. We
Yes.
missed you. But whew, yeah, Cicely playing a crazy lady in politics. It's just one of the show's go tos at this point.
Yeah, I mean it's always Republican ladies too, which I've noticed.
They have a
So
high percentage of crazy ladies.
you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah,
But yeah, like as far as I mean, I like Cecily, but I thought this was kind of just okay. It didn't really elevate or really kind of go anywhere.
I
It's
mean
just
nobody got splashed with wine, so
yeah. I mean, once you get into a trough full of wine, that's the apex. Where do you go from there? It's all
it's tough to top that. It's tough to
yeah,
top that. I mean this was fine. It was all right. It seemed like they got a little out of sync at one point. Uh, I don't know. It seemed like there was a little confusion between her and Colin, and I don't know quite what happened there. But
yeah, a little bit. But
yeah,
overall, the weekend update I thought was so. It wasn't. I mean, the two death segments with OJ and Marsha Blackburn, I think, were so. The jokes were so. There weren't
hmm
too many great jokes that I remember. Actually, no. Joe's had one that I liked where talk about a 500-pound black bear was found at a college, which
hmm
took the spot of more deserving white and Asian bears. I
that
thought
was great.
that was
That
good.
was great.
So like
And yeah,
yeah, they had a few good jokes here and there, but overall, it was just like
I mean,
okay.
anytime they make Joe say something vaguely racist, I am there for it.
Yes, two thumbs up, way up.
Two thumbs up. That is that is my jam. But yeah, it wasn't the greatest update because mainly because it's just half of it was about the slap, and
Yeah, they needed to cut out at least like half of those jokes
yeah,
about the slap
yeah,
because trim it like a Vajafro.
exactly, exactly. I think that's
Yeah,
just a good rule for life.
right. And we also got a title card. R.I.P. Taylor Hawkins, the drummer for
Yes,
the Foo Fighters, who passed away last weekend, which was a shock to
yeah,
everybody.
yeah. That was sad news.
Yeah, like I mean, I think I've said on this podcast before. I still like the Foo Fighters, but for a while in the '90s, I was a huge Foo Fighters fan. I really got into their stuff. So
Uh-huh.
to hear about his passing, really was like, damn, I really came out of nowhere. It was like
Now those you worked security at many a Foo Fighters concert. I understand.
yes. Oh shit, that's my joke. Look at that. You know my set. Thank you, sir.
I do. I do. Are you still
Oh,
doing that bit?
I'm trying to I'm trying to write new stuff. I'm trying to phase that out, but I appreciate fans like yourself, sir, that know my vintage stuff, my old stuff.
It's so tough to know when to retire a bit because it's like oh, it's still working, but I feel a little like a hack still doing this, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that might have been it. Where it was like I always like phase out jokes where I do a show where I know comedians who have seen me do that joke before,
Hmm.
you know, are going to be there. So I'm like, all right, if he's going to be there, I can't do this joke
Yeah,
because he's seen me do it. I don't want to look like a hack in his eyes. So I got to come up with some new stuff.
yeah.
That's when I start to like phase out stuff.
That's a good rule of thumb, I think. Yeah.
That's right. If I'm at a show where I know no one I know is going to be there that see me do my old stuff, I will hack it up to the morning
Hack
light.
it up. Yeah, there
That's
you
right.
go.
To the
That's
morning
how you
light.
do it.
That's right. Oh, but yeah, that's a good joke, guys. If you don't know what we're talking about, go look at my old videos on YouTube. There might be a few on there somewhere that were you.
Or go see Darren live at a show where there aren't many other comics,
Oh
or
yeah,
at
do
least
that.
not comics that Darren knows.
Oh yeah, do that. Don't do the YouTube thing. Go see me live, please. I need
Well,
to
do both. Give him
do
give him
both.
the hits, and go see him live.
Yeah, exactly. Hey man,
Just
just
support Darren in all his endeavors.
support me in my dreams, you bastards.
Yeah, at Darren Credible on Twitter and Instagram. I'm going to
Thank
give you a
you.
plug early.
At Trumbull Comic,
Mhm.
TRUMBULL, and the word comic.
Yeah, if you didn't get that now, we'll plug it again at the end of the show.
Oh, we will.
No, but first we have a few more sketches to get through. Next we have Scattering Remains. This is James Nelson Johnson, Heidi, and Kyle as a family. They're gathering on a hillside for the funeral of James's father. And Andrew and Jerrod are the funeral home directors who are there. And by the way, Jerrod looks like he went to the makeup people at SNL and he's like, I want to be like 75% Steve Harvey, but not quite go all the way with it. Because he's got the hair, he's got the mustache, he's got the fake teeth,
Mm,
but he's just this side of Steve Harvey.
that's
He didn't
right.
go the full Harvey.
You never go full Harvey.
You don't go full Harvey.
So,
Um, and when they get to the point where they're going to scatter the remains, they just have a full body and they dump his body over a cliff.
yes.
And he was supposed to be cremated.
Yeah, and of course, and then that's when we kind of get into the sketch where the the two morticians are like there's like, oh, he was supposed to be cremated. That was not related to us.
Right.
And yeah, then the sketch kind of goes off with the two morticians kind of being kind of nonplussed about the whole thing and treating it very very
Mhm.
casually, that they just threw a dead man's body over a cliff.
Right. And the family is, of course, horrified. I I think the highlight for me in this sketch was Gerard just did this shift of. I think at this point Andrew Dismukes had already gone over the cliff to retrieve the body, and Gerard just goes, "So what do you guys got cooking up this weekend?"
I
And
love that. Yeah, that was a great line.
I love the shift. Made me laugh out loud. That was terrific. Um, and we also have the nice weird touch that he's using an urn as a thermos. He's keeping soup in it. Uh,
Right. Yeah, and then we also have that one thing where Andrew gives the bill to the family like a waiter at a restaurant. Where it's like,
yes.
oh, so who's got this? Is it you, little man? Haha, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I there's a lot I liked about this sketch, but like I feel like it didn't quite get there. Like it felt like a
It didn't stick the landing. It ended really abruptly. I
yeah
just we needed a strong ending for this, and we just didn't have it. There was some great stuff in there, but yeah, the
yeah
ending just was like, boom, it's over.
yeah. I feel like we got that strong. Like the funniest thing in the sketch happened in the beginning, where
Hmm.
of course, as we all know, tossing a dead body over a cliff is hilarious.
Tough to
And
top that.
yeah,
Tough to build off of that. Yeah,
yeah. So like the funniest thing happened at the beginning, and everything after that just didn't live up to that one big shocking moment. Like
yeah,
like you said, like even Gerard's Carmichael's one off where when Andrew is going down the cliff to retrieve the body and they're just waiting for him, he just like says, "Hey, so what do you guys got cooking up this weekend?" Like that's a
yeah.
funny line, but
Mhm.
the rest of the sketch just didn't live up to
I mean,
the
the ending bit was Jerrod tossing the urn, the thermos, down to Andrew Dismukes, and it's just too weak of an ending, you know.
yeah, that's true. Like if this sketch need to be it needed more. It need to be need to be like rewritten maybe or need to be this it seems like this was like the first draft and it needed another quick
Honestly, it
rewrite.
felt like they cut off the last page of the sketch.
Yeah, that too.
Somehow that didn't get to the cue card department, so Wally didn't put it on the cue card. So
Right. Exactly.
and so it just ended.
Yeah, like their dog ate their last page of the sketch.
Exactly.
But yeah, like I liked it, but it could have been more.
Yeah.
It should have been more. But,
Exactly. Exactly. I am also like Liam Neeson at the end of Schindler's List. Could have done more.
oh Jesus! Wow, I got
Yeah.
I got dark. All right.
Well, hey, the sketch inspired that in me. I
Oh
wanted to
boy.
get dark.
All right. Yeah. So that sketch written by Andrew Dismukes, Jake Nordwind.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy that Dismukes is getting more of his stuff on. I think he has a unique comedic voice, and I'd like to see more from him in the show. He seems to
Yeah.
be staking out his own territory on the 10-1 land, which is fun.
Yeah. Jake is. I mean, not Jake. Andrew is definitely kind of he's definitely planting his flag in the SNL world right now. He seems to be getting up a good amount. He seems to be getting his material on a good amount. He seems to be sort of becoming the new uh, Kyle Mooney,
Yeah.
which we'll get into in the next sketch
Which,
story.
hey, we still have the old Kyle Mooney there because, no
But
one leaves SNL anymore.
yeah, yeah, mm,
Even when someone's rumored to be leaving, the person denies it on Instagram and is like, no, I just said that as a joke at a comedy show and somebody made a story out of it because people are idiots.
oh, oh boy,
So,
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so like now we go into the sketch story written by Kyle Mooney and Will Steven. And remember when I said earlier that there should have been a sketch that was cut that should have been, the time should have been given for to Angelo. The,
yeah,
this is that sketch.
I had a feeling you were talking about this one.
Mm,
It's a group of friends getting together. Gerard, Gerard is telling an anecdote, and Kyle's character is getting really excited about the anecdote, about the story for some reason.
right. Like
This
basically,
just didn't go anywhere. The whole sketch was like someone telling you a long, pointless story.
yeah. Like so, basically, Kyle is playing Heidi's cousin from out of town, and like you said, like Gerard comes in, tells this crazy story, and Kyle kind of interrupts the story, being like, "Oh man, this is gonna be crazy, right? Oh, the waiter was high off dope, right?" And
And
it
yeah,
just
and he's trying to guess where the story is going, and he's wrong every time. And it just didn't work for me. I didn't see the point of this. My
yeah,
my attention wandered pretty early on this.
yeah, and like I mean, I understand that Kyle's thing is that he's awkward. He finds the
Yeah,
humor in the awkwardness, and it's like some people can work with awkward to get some really funny, funny comedy gold out of it. Like Larry David does it all the time on Curb Your Enthusiasm. But like with this,
yeah.
I yeah, it would just kind of seem like where is this going? Is what is happening here? It just I don't know. It just was. I was just kind of waiting for something to happen, and then nothing real. And then the only thing that did happen was, well, like at the end where Kyle's apologizing for interrupting his story. It's like, yeah, I'm a real jerk. I'd like to make it up to you and pay for your rent for the entire year. And then he gives him a check for $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, well, this won't even cover a month's rent. And then Kyle throws himself across the table, smashing all the drink glasses and plates on it. And it looked like something that none of the other cast members saw coming, because it looked like Heidi even broke for a minute. It was like, what the fuck? What? And then like Kyle just kind of ran around the set and then out the door. And I was like, was that planned? What is that how we're ending the sketch? Like what happened here? What is this? Kyle,
Yeah,
explain yourself. What is this?
I don't know. It just didn't work for me at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, between this sketch and the Dan Bulldozer weekend update desk piece, I'm like, I think Kyle's out of ideas, man. I don't like, I hate to say it, but I like Kyle's. Like, he does come up with a few good things here and there, but I was like, I don't know. This Kyle is kind of seems like he's running on empty at this point.
Yeah, yeah. I would not be surprised to see Kyle leave the show at this point, and it feels like he's probably at the end of his natural life as a cast member.
Okay, thank God you ended that with cast member, because I was like, oh shit,
Yeah,
is he?
as a cast member, as a cast member,
Is
I
he?
am not going to take any bets on how much longer Kyle Mooney is going to live. That doesn't seem like that would end well for me.
No, he's not long for this earth.
Uh,
But
so
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, not much else to say about this one. Just didn't work.
the fact that this sketch got on and the Angelo sketch got cut, I was like, that doesn't seem right. Because like the first
Yeah.
time, because people like Angelo, people loved the first time they saw him on what was it, the Rami Malek episode. So like
Mhm.
his character hits. So I don't understand why they don't bring him back as a return character, but they're willing to bring back Chad for the umpteenth time, and they're willing to put this on. Like,
Well, to be fair, I don't think we've seen Chad for a little while. I think it's
mm,
probably been since what, the Elon Musk episode. Have they done
yeah,
Chad since then, or if I
yeah,
blocked it out?
yeah. No, I think that was. I shouldn't have said anything. I hope I didn't jinx it.
You've jinxed it now. Yeah, we're gonna get Chad next week.
Oh,
Thanks very much.
I'd like to apologize to everyone in SNL world for bringing back Chad into the Jake Gyllenhaal episode. I didn't know my actions. I meant no malice by my actions. I apologize.
Okay, we're gonna ask
Yeah,
you to leave the academy
yeah.
now.
Sometimes love makes you do crazy things.
Yep.
You know,
All right. So moving on, we had a pre-tape called "Baby Clothes"
baby clothes.
with just baby onesies, where you don't want to assume that your baby's going to be straight.
Right, because so basically it's a number of couples. We have Heidi and Chris. We have Andrew and Chloe. First time seeing Chloe for the whole night too,
Yeah,
and
true.
then we have Bo
Did we
and
see Melissa at all?
I don't think so.
I don't. Yeah, I can't recall any place I saw Melissa.
Cold Open, no. Post COVID game show, no.
Yeah.
Short ass movies, no. Shop TV,
Yeah,
no.
the cast is just too big right now.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, 21 cast members. That's nuts, man.
it's a big cast, but it seems like a lot of cast members are getting more reps than others, like
Yeah,
Kyle and Kate and Keenan and Cecily.
yeah.
It seems like a lot of those roles, like, oh no, you could have put Chloe in there. You could have put
Well,
Pump.
Lauren's always going to have his favorites, but I mean,
Yeah,
21 is that just seems ridiculous. I realize that Lauren wants to have a deep bench and he wants to let people have the freedom to do other things and yada yada yada. But come on, 21,
it's
21.
like that's like a football team's worth of cast members, if I'm not
It
mistaken.
really is. You could do 3 comedy shows with that.
You could absolutely 2 drink minimum.
Yeah,
Pay, yeah. But yeah, so baby clothes. Yeah, so basically it's a pre-tape, and like it basically it's a take on how we're used to seeing people dress their baby in shirts that say like, oh, future heartbreaker, future bride
right.
and groom. Like we want to think of our baby as being future, heartbreakers or whatever.
And we've now realized as a society that that is kind of weird and creepy.
Right, exactly. So, like the twist in this sketch is that the clothes are from the Born This Way line, where they have clothes that
Yeah.
say "Future Twink" and "Little Les" and "Messy DJ." and rockabye baby, get it, like bye. Yeah, or and then also reading T-shirts to say like Alexander Hamilton was a turf. Uh, I love Milk, Harvey Milk, R.I.P. And that's basically the gist of it. Like for like
Yeah.
for like a minute, it's just literally them reading slogans off the T-shirt,
Yep.
and then and then of course them giving testimonials, talk to the camera, like imagine boxing a child into something that doesn't feel right. That's why I put my baby in the Messy DJ T-shirt, or
Yeah.
piercing your baby's ears for baptism is archaic. Our kids will never have to conform to something they don't want. And you get what they're
I
saying,
did like Cecily's little voiceover at the end, like, "Oh, relax, it's not like they can read." I
right?
thought that was cute.
Right, exactly.
I got the point of this early on, and
Yeah, get it? Because like they're rebelling against the archaic ways of putting your child in a box, but they're doing it by putting their child in a box. Get it? Do you get it?
yeah,
You got it. Did you? Could
I
you?
no, I got it.
Because
I got it.
did you get it?
And
Did you
we're
get?
home for another 2 minutes, though. So
All right. So the sketch starts off. No, I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, um it's an interesting premise for a sketch, but yeah, like it kind of like doesn't escalate or really go anywhere, and like the fact that they're literally just reading the slogans off the T-shirts for what seems like a minute. I was like, all right, I get
yeah,
they're kind of beating the dead horse, and they're kind of you know yeah, it didn't live up to its potential. I thought.
yeah, agreed, agreed. So kind of a weak show overall, or mediocre at best. I thought there was some good stuff in there. Loved the monologue. I liked the post COVID game show. I thought the slap seed filler sketch was pretty good. Um, the rest had problems.
Yeah, that's I'll agree with you there.
All
I
right,
think.
co-signing on that.
Sorry.
You're co-signing on that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I thought the monologue was strong. I still like the shop TV, rainbow doll thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect, but like it had glimpses of stuff that I liked
I
in
mean,
it.
I'm mixed at best on that, just because I thought it took way too long to get to the point. You know.
No, fair enough, fair enough. Uh, the scattering ashes, I felt like could have really been something. Um,
Hmm.
Everything else, I was like pretty lukewarm on. And I'm sorry, the fact that they just packed in Weekend Update with all those Chris Rock slap Will Smith jokes when we already established that we were kind of didn't want to hear all that, or we are kind of
Hmm.
burnt out on them, was just
I
like
mean, I really liked Joe's joke at the beginning where he's like, "This creates a dangerous precedent of having to defend your wife at award shows." You know, that was great because that was a unique joke to Colin Jost,
yeah,
who married to Scarlett Johansson.
that's right,
Um,
that's right. You guys,
and he and I love that that's where his mind went.
that's right. Just
Nobody else could have come up with that joke.
that's true.
That's great.
I'll give you that. Not Jost, you got to step up. Somebody disrespects your woman at a award show, you got to slap a motherfucker. So, hey
That's
man,
right. That's right.
that's on you, son.
That's on you. That's on you.
But yeah,
So
like everything.
I thought Jerrod Carmichael was a pretty good host. I thought he did well with the stuff they gave him to do.
Agree,
Um,
yeah, but
but not the strongest show overall.
yeah, overall pretty mid. Uh, it's I don't know. I mean, I know like their first show back from a break is always kind of a weaker was kind of always kind of weak. So hopefully the next week's episodes is stronger, and the week after that is strong. But yeah, this one I was like, this needed a lot more. This needed so much
Yeah,
more.
yeah. Um, we also had a cut for time sketch from the Please Don't Destroy guys. This was called Three Normal Goths, where it's just the three of them dressed up in gothic clothing, but they're acting totally normal and average.
Yeah, it's like that, like three goth guys. They kind of put it in the format of like the opening of a sitcom,
Yeah,
where it's like them dressed up in ghoulish black costumes and slick back hair, but them liking things like Family Guy and Marvel movies, like just kind
Mm-hmm.
of basic shit.
They're basic bitches.
Yeah, your words, not mine, but I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was listening. I was like, okay, this is all right, but yeah, I kind of see why it was cut.
yeah, yeah, I see where I was cut, but I mean, I liked it over a lot of other things. I liked it. I kind of wish they put this instead of the Pete Davidson short movie rap. At least it's a little bit more creative than what Pete does.
Yeah, I
Uh,
guess. I mean, I know, and the Please Don't Destroy guys, they also helped out writing the seat filler sketch with Mike D. Cisenzo and Jake Nordwind. So they were still represented on the show. They just weren't performing in their own sketch.
mm,
But yeah, I watched this and I was like, yeah, I don't really miss that.
yeah, I thought it was all right, but it's
I like what the Please Don't Destroy guys do on the show, and I enjoy seeing their voices represented on the show. I just didn't think this was quite up to their usual standard.
right. But I will admit this is a different format than what they usually do, where it's like the three of them in their writers' room, and then just kind of crazy manic chaos happens around them, and just like a bunch
It
of non
wasn't as
sequitur.
manic. They were still in their writers' room.
Oh yeah, all right, all right. It was still in the writers' room, but they were dressed differently, so totally
Yeah,
different.
sure.
But yeah, this overall this episode a bit of a letdown. But we'll hopefully tomorrow or next week will be another day, another show.
Yeah, and we're gonna have another show with host Jake Gyllenhaal and returning musical guest Camila Cabello.
Hey, looking forward to this one.
I think that'll be a good show. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. He's got a good sense of humor about himself, so
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
yeah, he did pretty. He does, like you said. He this will be his second time hosting. Like
Hmm.
he hosted back in 2007 with musical guest The Shins. So he kind of knows how the sausage is made here at here at SNL. So I'm
Hmm.
looking forward to seeing what he brings and what sketches they put him in. I think this is going to be a good one. You know,
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. Interested in seeing if he is going to return Taylor Scarf.
I hope they lean into that. Like I think a lot of people are
That would
wondering.
be fun. I feel like we have to get some kind of reference to it.
We need closure. We need closure, Jake.
Yes, we as a nation need closure.
We need to heal. We as a nation need to heal.
We need to heal. Heal this broken nation,
Yes.
Jake.
Take
You
these
alone have the power to do it.
take these broken wings and learn to fly again. Learn to live
Hmm.
so free.
Yes.
Oh boy. Yeah, so that's our feelings on the episodes, guys. Thanks again for
Yep.
listening as always. And oh, you know what? Let's hit up our Twitter and see what they say. The good Twitter people.
Okay. So let's see. We got a few comments. Let's see. Our friend
Uh,
John. Okay, I want to make sure I'm getting the last name pronunciation correct. Ananias.
ooh,
John Ananias. Uh,
Ananias.
yeah, he wrote us and told us how to pronounce his name so that we get it right in
Oh,
the future. He says,
oh.
"Do you think the Oscars sketch should have been the cold open instead? I didn't enjoy it that much, but I appreciate that they didn't just recreate but found an angle with Will trying to veer away from his outburst and be the classic charming Will Smith. Update wore me out though. Yeah, I do pretty much agree with that. I think it would have probably been a stronger cold open than the Fox and Friends thing.
Yeah, I think it would have been good to have. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, have that in the cold open. Have um, have Jerrod talk about how he's sick of talking about the slap. Have maybe one or two jokes in Weekend Update, and then that's it. Then we never talk about the slap again. Like that's, I feel like
Hmm.
that's how it should have been. And plus, with the Oscars opening, it would have been different than its normal, like MSNBC, Fox 5 news
Yeah,
cold open. It would have been something different. It would have been something like, oh, okay, yeah,
I'm sick of them being going political every single week. Uh, I'm and they had a prime opportunity to not go political this week. Um, because the biggest story of the week, oddly enough and sadly enough, was the slap.
yeah,
Even though Supreme Court's justice seems complicit in a coup. That seems like that should be a big story.
Yeah, there's
But
still isn't there still like a war going on too?
still a war going on. 7.5 hours of missing phone records on January 6th. That seems like that should be a big story, but who knows? I don't know how this stuff works.
It's all,
But
it's
Will Smith slapped a guy,
yeah.
so
Forget it, John. It's Chinatown.
we're doomed. We are doomed.
We are. We are. It's all yikes. Just
Let's see what other people had to say. Our friend Mikey with two E's said, pretty forgettable material, which is a shame because Jerrod was great, but underused. Seems to be a common theme with the hosts recently. The sketches don't seem to be written to the host's strengths. I think literally any other celebrity could have been slotted into Jerrod's roles. Uh, anyway, Cold Open was okay and monologue was decent. Enjoyed the doll sketch and the pre-tape from Pete Davidson. I think that's his name. Wink. Weekend Update was good, but could have used a few less slap jokes. Agreed.
hmm
The rest, unfortunately, was pretty weak due to the no escalation issues again. Yep.
agreed. 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 I agree with all of these
It's a
things.
pretty good assessment, I think. Yeah. Yeah, they could have written to his hosts, Gerard's strengths a little more, but maybe it's a little tougher to slot the stand-ups into the sketches.
I guess so. It's just that, like, with the with the monologue, rather, he really like established his voice and who he was. So I was kind of
Yeah,
hoping to see sketches kind of reflect that, or at the very least, like Mikey said, just sort of go with his strengths. Like to see, I want to see basically his personality and maybe his viewpoint on the world in the sketches. And they didn't do that at all. Like literally everything that he was in could have been done by any other guest host. It was like, oh,
yeah,
that's a bummer.
yeah.
Indeed.
Let's see. Our friend Manette Maradi says Nassim did a better version of the Kyle sketch, and she presented a link to Nassim Pedrad's sketch called Tippy with looks like Christoph Waltz in there with her. I haven't watched this sketch yet, but
I have not either, but yeah, I remember the Christoph Waltz episode because that's like when they had Alabama Shakes as a musical guest, and I really like Alabama Shakes.
I
Uh,
remember them doing the Quentin Tarantino version of Passion of the Christ.
oh yeah, that's right. Oh, that was
Um,
yikes. That was bananas.
but yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that Tippy sketch. So thank you for sharing that, Manette. We'll check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And
And
I also, I mean, I also noticed that in Nassim Pedrad news, Nassim's show Chad is actually on HBO Max, which I should give a look. I've heard good things about it, but I haven't.
I've only seen the odd episode of that. I thought it was okay, but it didn't really send me.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, it is. I mean, I'll give Nassim props for doing something so different as playing a 14-year-old boy, and
Yeah,
that's like it's a little odd, but like I'll go with it. But yeah, it was always a show like it looked interesting. The premise seems interesting. The character she's playing seems like interesting. I just never got around to checking it out.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I should give it another shot. I should watch a little more of that. Um,
Absolutely.
our friend Boardman gets paid. Said I nearly said played. He says even without seeing this episode, Boardman always seems to be like a week behind on this. I think he's watching the show in a time warp. He says daylight savings time has not hit him yet. Wasn't that like a month ago?
I think he's a time traveler. Is that what's going on
Are
here?
you okay, Boardman?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he talks about the Zoe Kravitz episode, and it's just like I don't remember the Zoe Kravitz episode anymore. I'm sorry,
That's right.
but he says even without seeing this episode, I know this week would have been Jay Farrow's time to shine. And yeah, it's a shame that Jay Farrow wasn't around for this story
Mm. Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer.
because yeah, he would have been great. And lastly, my friend Tom Glasscock just says farm bicycle.
Wise
Well
words.
said.
Right.
Well said.
Wow. Controversial take.
Yep. Yep. Farm bicycle.
Wow. Whoa. So brave. So brave.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's our episode, guys. Thanks again for listening as always. And as always, if you want to follow the show on Twitter, we're at SNL Nerds Show. We just broke 400 followers, guys. Hey-o, we're doing it.
Yay. Yeah, slowly building that back up. Slowly,
right.
slowly. We're if please give us a follow. Even if you think I followed those guys a couple of years ago. Double check. Go to at SNL Nerd Show because we lost all our followers in a mishap a few months back, and I'm not going to say whose fault it was. It doesn't really matter whose fault it was.
Let's not go there. Let's not go
there. But yeah, give us a follow. Just double check. Even if you think you're following us, double check to make sure that you are, because every little bit helps. And also, please rate, review, and subscribe on the podcast app of your choice. We always love getting the reviews, and if you give us a nice school review, we'll read it on the air.
Yeah, and as always, you can donate some money to our Patreon at Non-Productive.com /SNL Nerds. Give us some money. Put some dollars in our pockets. For the price of a cup of coffee, you too can help support two podcasters in these troubling days and times.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah, wow. That was awkward. Well, and as soon as you said it, you were like, yikes. And as always,
that's not my brand.
That's not my brand, baby.
But you can follow our individual Twitter accounts as well. I'm at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL and the word comic.
I'm at Darren Incredible. That's DARI Incredible. Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
How we do it.
This is how we do it. Yeah. And that's the episode, guys. Thanks for listening. Next week, Jake Gyllenhaal, Camilla Cabello, if I'm butchering that correctly.
And we're probably butchering both names. I don't even know anymore.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes.
Camilla Cabello Law.
Yes.
Yay. And that's the episode, guys. Thanks again for listening. And but until then,
nerds out!
Wow, that was frightening.
Yeah.
Did you like step on something while you saying it?
No. I had to, I had to bring it. I had to bring a little energy to it.
You brought all of it. That was like a Fred Flintstone screaming out Wilma.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.